Can you talk about the difference that the relationship of the grandparent to the grandchild has in, the difference in the grandparent and grandchild relationship versus the parent-child relationship?
Well, there's the grandparent has less pressure.
Yeah.
Game on for the parent.
Right.
But the grandparent, because of their place in the family, has a special place to be able to invest in and care for and love their grandchildren in a unique way. And if they do that well, then there's a cherishing relationship from early stages for that grandchild. But one of the things that we found, so recently I wrote a prayer guide for grandparents.
Cool.
And in that we did probably hundreds of surveys and interviews with grandparents. And we found in that good grandparenting starts with good parenting. That if there's some glitch in how they followed Christ early on as parents, then there's distance a lot of times as grandparents, and things that need to be remedied a lot of times with their own children. Mm-hmm. But I may be getting ahead of myself with some of our other questions. But,
no, that's fine.
But they have a special and powerful and profound opportunity, let's say it that way,
yeah.
as a grandparent with less pressure. We always hear the joke, well, we get done with them, we give them back.
Yeah.
But most of the time they just cherish the fact that they can actually invest in their lives.
Sure. So would you say that grandparents have an opportunity to play a part in discipleship of their grandkids?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. A lot of that depends on how much that grandparent how closely that grandparent is walking with the Lord themselves, and how important feeling and tasting and seeing the freshness of Jesus in their own life, and that if the stronger that is, the stronger it'll be to want to be able to nurture that faith in their grandchildren through a number of different ways. And there's lots of ways that can happen. But
yeah.
Yes.
But what about a grandparent who's like, man, I really want to be involved in my grandkids' lives and in their discipleship? What's a word of encouragement that you have for them? How do they start?
Well, I would say partly because prayer is such a big part of what has happened in my own life and how we can make a difference. I would say if you're not praying for your grandchildren, realize that if you start praying for your grandchildren right now, you're sowing into the future. Our prayers are future. Either if we're praying right now for the present, now's over, because it's all future. So whether we're praying for the next 10 minutes, the next 10 years, or the next 25 years, we're sowing into our grandchildren's lives, because prayer is rooted in God, and they can actually make a difference for generations to come by prayer, which isn't bound by geography or time. And so they can make a difference in their grandchildren's life no matter how far apart they are geographically. And also whether their own children have said, no, you can't come and see your grandchildren.
That's
so
right.
if there's those relational snares, then they can still make a difference discipleship-wise in praying for their grandchildren. So that would be the first place to start.
That's great.
But then you also want to give as much quality time as you can possibly give, because there's something about the relational component that if those grandchildren are feeling the goodness of being with their grandparents, and I say it that way on purpose, because we can be grumpy old grandparents and we're going to get less visits.
Yeah.
So if more goodness we can help them to feel, then the more open they are to the truths of God that we're wanting to share with them and speak into their life discipleship-wise.
That's great.